On the campus of IPFW as the men's basketball team prepares to play their final game as a member of NCAA Division II as they host the Lewis Flyers. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Maas. Welcome to the final edition of IPFW basketball for 2000-2001. I'm joined as always by Charlie Washington. And Charlie, it's the end of the season.
Yes, this is a very big game. The record won't show how big of a game it is, certainly, but it's a big game in the sense that this is going to be a great game to build on. This Lewis team is getting geared up for the tournament, and it's a good chance to spoil them going into the tournament and for us to build on some things going into next year, and hopefully we can get some players to add to the players that we have and come out smoking next year because we got to gear it up.
Well, a couple of players who have shined for IPFW have been Nick Wise and Brad Knoll, and they have played extremely well, especially Nick Wise, averaging almost 19 points a game, third in the conference in scoring. When these two teams played about a month ago, it was a 6-point game. What does IPFW have to do today to come out with a victory? Well,
I've seen their prescription all year for me has been controlling the tempo, D'Angelo Woodall getting shots, good shots for Wise and Knoll, and the continued improved play of our inside people.
It's the season finale of IPFW basketball. The Mastodons play host to the Lewis Flyers, and it's coming up next right here on College 56 Sports. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW. This is Mike Maas along with Charlie Washington calling the action. Today's season finale, men's basketball game featuring the Flyers of Lewis University and the Mastodons of IPFW. Contest that is brought to you in part by Pizza Hut of Canterbury, featuring famous Pizza Hut pizza. Well, Charlie, as we said a moment ago, it's the season finale, and as you said, records may not show a successful year, 7-22 coming into this contest for IPFW, but it has been a learning experience for Doug Knoll, his staff, and the players.
And a very important game for not only the players but the coaches to do some last game evaluations to see who's coming back, what holes do we really need to fill, and the big thing is these players are confident building on their performance tonight, because this will be the last thing they remember, this final game.
Ironically, it's senior day, but there are no seniors on the IPFW basketball team. Well, let's turn it over right now to public address announcer Brian Miller for the introduction of today's starting lineups.
And first, the starters for the visiting Flyers. At guard, a 5'10 senior from Bloomington, Illinois, number 12, Jonah Batumzi. Also at guard, a 6'3 freshman from Silvis, Illinois, number 14, Demetrius Hunter. At forward, a 6'5 freshman from Gary, Indiana, number 30, Lukman Rashad. Also at forward, a 6'5 sophomore from Ottawa, Illinois, number 33, Harley Piercy. And in the middle, a 6'7 freshman from Aurora, Illinois, number 44, Austin Reel. Head coach is Jim Weitzel. He is assisted by Rusty Lloyd. And now, the starters for your IPFW Mastodons. At guard, a 6-foot sophomore from Freeport, Illinois, number 3, D'Angelo Woodall. Also at guard, a 6-foot sophomore from Spring Arbor, Michigan, number 24, Brad Knoll. At forward, a 6'5 junior from Plymouth, Indiana, number 42, Nick Wise. Also at forward, a 6'7 junior from Newaygo, Michigan, number 33, Matt Shepard. And in the middle for the Dons, a 6'9 junior from Kokomo, Indiana, number 34, Nick Euler. Head coach of the Dons is Doug Knoll. He is assisted by Joe Pachota and Fred Andrews.
Well, there you have it, the starting lineups, courtesy of PA announcer Brian Miller. Had a good look there at Doug Knoll, completing his second year at the helm here at IPFW. And I know Doug's disappointed in the overall record, but he is looking forward to bigger and better things, as we all are, from the IPFW men's basketball team.
Yes, I had a chance to talk to Coach Noel a little bit before the game today, and I had some very positive things to say, very excited about some players that we have redshirting currently, and also some players coming in. And blend those players with the current players that we have, and he's looking forward to some exciting things. And I'll tell you what, he better get ready, because we have some tough scheduling coming up as we make that transition into Division I basketball.
Interesting to note, the Dons come out in their traveling blue. They've done it twice earlier this year, and they split 1-1. They defeated Indianapolis, and they lost, I believe, to Missouri St. Louis. So the Dons, Nick Euler, going to jump it up. Tap controlled by IPFW. Brad Knoll with it, and here we go. D'Angelo Woodall. Euler. Wise for three. Off the rim, no. Rebound controlled by Demetrius Hunter. Here come the Lewis Flyers. IPFW in a man-to-man defense, as they usually play. Hunter looking for help. Adam Boozy, I remember him from last year. 3 on the shot clock. Shot up and in by Hunter. Well, they used all 35 seconds and they get the lead, 2-0 to the Lewis Flyers. Wise just inside the arc, off the rim. No, Shepard with the offensive rebound. And they say he stepped on the end line. Turnover, IPFW. Not the best start, Charlie.
No, but it's still early, and certainly a chance to get into the flow of the offense, which I think they have not done these first two possessions.
IPFW coming out with some full court man-to-man. Demetrius Hunter with the basketball, watched by Brad Knoll. .33, shot in and out, no, by Piercy. Rebound Shepard, here comes IPFW. Woodall lost the basketball. Benambuzi, 3-on-2. Takes it to the glass and he's hammered. Nick Euler hits the floor hard.
Very hard.
D'Angelo Woodall called for the foul, his first, team first. And shooting two will be Jonah Benambuzi. 5'10", 160-pound senior from Bloomington, Illinois. First free throw is good. Just underway here at the Gate Sports Center. Season finale for IPFW. Second free throw good as well. 4 points to start the ball game for Lewis. They enjoy the 4-0 lead. Brad Knoll up top. Watched by Piercy. Shepard, inside pass for Wise, knocked away and picked off. Oh, Shepard gets it back. Euler underneath, left hands it up and in. Nick Euler on the feed from Matt Shepard, and it's 4-2.
We got a basket out of that, Mike, but we still out of sync, it seems.
Pressure put on by IPFW, but inside, off the glass and in, it's Harley Piercy. 6-2 the score. Back come the Dons. Shepard. Wise for three. Yes. Nick Wise, third leading scorer in the conference, gets his first points of the day. 6-5, Dons with a lead. All by himself, down low is Piercy. Defensive breakdown.
No question about it, because he was there for a long time, wide open. I'm surprised it took so long for the Flyers to recognize.
Wise, 10-footer off the rim, no. Tap, no by Euler. Wise with the offensive board again. Turnaround shot up and in. Persistence, Wise and Euler, and Nick gets the field goal.
And Nick Wise, as always, bringing his lunch pail.
Three-point shot by Searcy, no good. Tap out of bounds. Last touch by Austin Reel. And it'll be IPFW basketball as Dwight Crow replaces Matt Shepard for the Mastodons.
That's a great job by the officials. I think the baseline official actually called that Lewis basketball, but he received some help. Don't give those guys compliments too often.
We'll do it now. Woodall to Brad Knoll up top. Brad Knoll for three. Yes. Coach's son hits his first shot.
Great shooter when he gets his feet set. And the same thing happens again.
Another lay-in by Piercy, and Doug Knoll calls a timeout. And he's not happy to say the least.
The exact same thing happened 2 times in a row.
Learn more about Mastodon sports in season by tuning into Mastodon Spotlight each Wednesday and Friday evening on College 56. Yours truly will review the week's sports activities, look at game footage, and talk with players and coaches. That's Mastodon Spotlight, Wednesday evenings at 8:30 and Friday evenings at 9:30, right here on College 56. Well, there you see the IPFW huddle. Charlie, where was the breakdown? It's twice that's happened.
What's a missed assignment? It looks to be full court pressure, and you always have to have what we call a protector. And obviously the last 2 times the Dons have not had a protector. And I don't want to point fingers, but I would imagine it's one of our big guys, Euler, or in the first case, maybe Shepard. We just saw a replay there. It's hard to tell what happened on the replay because we just saw a Lewis player just kind of by himself and 2 IPFW players chasing. But if we're going to pressure, everyone has to make their assignments.
Well, a couple of substitutions. Jim Kesenich in the lineup, 6'10" freshman out of Pewaukee, Wisconsin. So we've got Dwight Crow, Brad Knoll, Nick Wise, Jim Kesenich, and D'Angelo Woodall on the floor for the Dons. Knoll double teamed, he was hit, no foul called. And now IPFW has to call another timeout.
And that could hurt us later, having to use that timeout right on the heels of a timeout because of the missed assignments.
30-second timeout called by IPFW. They burned 2 of them now. Student host Dan Westrick and student producer Alicia Bradley bring you weekly Mastodon highlights and scores in 10 minutes or less each Tuesday and Thursday evening at 5:50 and 8:50 right here on College 56 Sports. And Dan was in his glory last week because he did a remote from Ohio State University where the Valley Dons took on Ohio State. Lost in a tough match, but Dan had a good time.
I've always liked Dan Westrick. Good guy.
Back to the action. IPFW in the blue. Trailing. Oh, it's tied 10-10. I take that back. Knoll for 3. Yes, and he's fouled. Chance for the 4-point play. Foul is on Piercy. His first, team first.
And I hope Brad Knoll watches this film. The first 2 shots that he was taken, watch his footwork. I hope he goes back and looks. He's had his feet set, pointed towards the rim, and if you do that, if you're a shooter like Knoll, you have great success.
4-point play by the sophomore co-captain. 14-10, and here come the Flyers. They break the press. Missed shot, but the offensive board up and in by Lukman Rashad. And the Dons have got to control the defensive glass better. Woodall for 3, short, rebound. Crow misses the shot. Board grabbed by Austin Reel. Here come the Flyers. baseline jumper, short, rebound, fought for, picked off by Kesinich. And Jim Kesinich lost the ball, plain and simple. That will bring another substitution from the IPFW bench as Lindsey Henderson comes in the lineup, replacing Kesinich. Lindsey's 6'8", 235 freshman.
And Kesinich clearly should have given that ball up to D'Angelo Woodall. Probably not all his fault. D'Angelo has to go get that basketball from the big fella.
Gibrion Carter, number 4 in the lineup for Lewis as well. Carter watched by Crow. Kicks it off, baseline jumper, in by Rio. Just like that, the Flyers tie it up, 14 apiece. Mike Miller in the lineup as well for the Dons. They'll go inserting players in and out. Pass intended for Keon Henderson, goes awry. And we have our first media timeout of this ball game. Comes with 14:30 left in the half. Let's take a break. Our score, IPFW 14, Lewis 14. You're watching IPFW basketball on College 56 Sports.
Each year, IPFW faces 2 key legislative issues, equity funding and technology funding. Although we're a state-assisted university, the funding IPFW receives from the state puts us near the bottom of the list of public educational institutions. Join me this month on IPFW Up Close for a look at what can be done to improve the equity of funding for Northeast Indiana's largest public university. That's IPFW Up Close, Sundays at noon and Fridays at 8 p.m. on College Access Channel 56.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. Mike Moss, Charlie Washington with you. Let's get a look at a replay. Charlie, Lewis passing the ball and shooting the ball very well.
And so far, that little baseline jumper has been there. We've seen at this early point of the basketball game, that jumper's been there for Lewis at least 2 to 3 times.
Well, let's see what adjustments IPFW makes. You've got Dwight Crow, Brad Knoll, Mike Miller, Keon Henderson, Lindsey Henderson. Lewis comes out with Rio. London Dunlow is in the lineup for the first time, number 50. You've got Sammy Bassino going to inbound the ball, his first appearance. Hunter still in the lineup. Small offense, off the glass and in is Dunlow. Could be a long afternoon if the Dons don't play some better defense.
Well, maybe we ought to rethink that pressure defense because of those missed assignments.
Miller comes back, misses the shot, whistle. They're going to call a foul underneath, I believe, either on Henderson or Crow. Crow picks up the foul, his first, team's second.
They're getting the basketball in, then they're cutting. They're having to cut or cut to the middle. And any type of defense, the worst place you want to see the basketball is in the middle of the floor, and Lewis has certainly done that.
Wayward pass almost, but Carter picks it up for Lewis, gets it to Hunter. Double team, picked off Brad Knoll. Forces the shot up, in and out, no. Tap up and in by Henderson.
Great job. That wasn't a tap-in basket per se, just trying to keep the basketball alive, and that's good things can happen when you're working hard.
16-16, we are tied. Lewis with the ball. Ball knocked away by Crow. Picked back up by Bassino. Underneath, shot up, no. Put back up and in by Rio. And you can't win if you can't keep the opponent off the glass.
Right now, the breakdowns are more mental and some effort. The Dons, the Flyers have shot a couple of baskets as we have traveling here.
Mike Miller, Gilliard traveling. Shepard, Woodall, John Taylor in the lineup for the first time for IPFW. And Ambuzi back in the lineup, along with Brennan Callahan, number 20, for Lewis.
As I was saying, Mike, the Flyers have missed a couple of baskets, and I think the Dons assumed they were going to go in, and they didn't go for the rebound.
Ball taken away by Miller. Whistle on. And I believe that Bassino is going to be called. Sammy Bassino picks up his first foul. team's second. I'll tell you one thing that impresses me, Charlie. Lewis is quick.
Yes.
Maybe not fast, but quick. And that may cause some problems for the Dons. Shepard on a high post. Keon Henderson wants to shake and bake, gets off underneath. John Taylor shot blocked. Picked up by Carter. Here come the Flyers on the run. Dunlow watched by Woodall. Inside, Dunlow, turnaround jumper, no. Offensive rebound, shot up and in by Adrian Carter.
Carter just out-muscled Miller that time for the rebound and a stick back.
Flyer lead up to 4, 20-16. Shepard for 3, yes! Matt Shepard with a badly needed 3. Cuts the lead to 1, 20-19. One gets the feeling that we're on the playground of New York City, Charlie.
It's going to be up and down. I'm not sure if that's what we want to do with this basketball team.
Three-point shot on the way. No! Rebound, Keon Henderson. Woodall wants to shake and bake himself. Shepard for 3, no! Taylor over the back. Lucky he wasn't called for the foul. He did knock it out of bounds, however. More substitutions. Wise back in for Keon Henderson for IPFW. Hunter back in the lineup along with Piercy for Lewis. Demetrius Hunter, the inbound. They break the double team to get numbers. Three-point shot on the way. Short. But Benambuzi gets the offensive glass with a little help from IPFW. Inside drive, dish off, Hunter. Carter misses the shot, but he's fouled. Wise guilty of the foul. That's Nick's first, team third. And heading to the foul line will be number 4, Gibrian Carter. .63", 205 sophomore out of Chicago Heights, Illinois.
It's more like a fullback than a basketball player. Very strong physical body.
Good perception there, the feed inside. First free throw by Carter is good. Saz is the second one. It's a 22-19 ball game. Lewis with the lead, IPFW with the basketball. Mike Miller up top. Nice feed. Oh, Woodall just couldn't handle it underneath.
I think he heard footsteps coming as Lewis was in what looked to be a 2-1-2 zone and matching the cutters as they went through.
Again, IPFW with the full court pressure off the foot of Piercy. Turnover Flyers. IPFW gets the break. .10:30, I believe, left in the half. Thanks, Charlie. Normal clock is not operating today, so it's a little difficult sometimes. Wise for 3, yes!
With 2 hands in his face, make it 4. 2 players had both hands up. Great shot that time by Nick Wise.
8 points for Wise. Lewis comes back with a 3-pointer of their own by Benambuzi. 25-22, Lewis with the lead. Woodall wants to drive, kicks it out to Shepard. Wise for three. Off the rim, no. Rebound controlled by Piercy. Here come the Flyers, 3-on-2. Spin move, Carter off the glass and in.
I think right now this tempo, the pace of the game's going in is actually in Lewis' favor, and I think we need to slow it down.
Shepard for three. Off the rim, no. Long outlet pass to Searcy. Flyers momentarily slow it up. Hunter. Searcy, lob pass underneath. Turnaround shot missed by Callahan. Shepard with the board. Miller. Inside, Woodall. Reverse layup up and in.
Great job that time by Woodall, using the rim as a defender.
Whistle. Timeout called by Lewis. I believe a 30-second timeout. Whew. Action fast and furious, Charlie. So you get a good look at the huddle there for the visitors from Lewis, the Flyers.
I have a little trivia story about the Flyers. Years ago, I was involved in a game that had 4 players, starting players, same last name, brothers, Niego, Lewis Flyers. 2 twins, Tom and Charlie Niego, they were seniors. Another brother.
We get a look at a replay. Go ahead, Charlie.
Another brother, junior, and then they had a freshman, and then they had a sister that played for the Lady Flyers, a sophomore.
And then you saw the good feed from Boozy into Carter. Carter knew what to do with it, spun and hit the back of the glass and in. IPFW is taking that man-to-man defense. Searcy, right-hand shot up and in. 8 points now for Harley Piercy. Get it right, Piercy, not Searcy. Woodall on the wing. Henderson falls down. And that brings us to another media timeout. So let's take a break. 8:01 left in the half. Our score, Lewis 29, IPFW 24. You're watching IPFW basketball on College 56 Sports. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. Mike Miles, Charlie Washington with you. Right now with 8:01 left in the first half. As we look at a replay, Charlie, the Dons are trailing 29-24.
As I said earlier, great job by D'Angelo Woodall on that play to use the rim so that the defender, to shield the defender in a sense, so that they could not get to the basketball.
It's interesting seeing D'Angelo play on the wing instead of the point as we've seen him play all year.
And he's had some opportunities down there. He's missed a couple of passes, but the opportunities have been there on the baseline for Woodall.
Well, here we go. It'll be Lewis basketball. Demetrius Hunter, number 14, will inbound it. And again, the Flyers break it relatively easily. Adam Boozy looking for somebody inside. Carter, ball knocked away, picked up by Brad Knoll. Good help defense for the Dons that time. Oilers back in the lineup at 6'9". Henderson for three, off the rim, no. Rebound picked off by Demetrius Hunter.
And Henderson can make that shot, but we'd like to see him more in a rhythm instead of just standing still.
Another defensive play. Oiler deflects the pass, picked off by Keon Henderson. Dons come back the other way. Woodall back at his customary point spot. Oiler left-handed three, in and out, no. Rebound, Carter.
But that was a good shot in rhythm, as it was not the case with Henderson's shot before.
Back comes Lewis. Carter washed by Keon Henderson. Inside feed, shot up, no. By Austin Reel, but he is hammered by Nick Oiler, and he will shoot two. For Nick Oiler, that's his first personal, only the fourth on the team. Austin Reel, 6'7", 215-pound freshman out of Aurora, Illinois. Drains the first one. Replay, Charlie.
Gave up that position too deep, too much.
Second free throw, also good. 31-24. The lead is 7 for the Flyers. Let's see how the Dons respond. Woodall on the wing. Woodall takes it strong, and he's called for the offense. No, the block. Thought it was going to be offensive foul. Instead, they call the block on Hunter. Break IPFW.
Again, that's the hardest play to call in any level of basketball, and that was certainly evident there.
Well, let's see if D'Angelo Woodall can take advantage of the good fortune. Only a 65% free throw shooter. Another look, Charlie.
And it did look like the defender was moving.
Second one good. Dons get closer. Hunter. Piercy on the wing. He's trying to stretch it out a little bit. Rashad nearly lost it. Now they're going to call a foul on Keon Henderson. And Keon lost his balance a little bit. Leaned on the officials. That's a call of a foul. Substitutions. Kesnich back in for IPFW. Sammy Bassino back in for Lewis. It'll be Lewis basketball. They lead 31-20. Steal by Keon Henderson. Jams it home.
Oh, baby. Gary, Indiana product. East Chicago Central bringing down the house.
That is a loud house as it is. Got a wee bit louder. 31-28. On the dunk by Keon. Piercy for three. Off the back of the rim, no. Rebound, Woodall. Dons with a chance to cut the lead to Warner, perhaps tie with a tray. No, turnaround jumper off the rim, no. Rebound controlled by Rashad. Flyers dodge a bullet for the moment.
Not quite Brad No's shot.
But that dunk by Henderson has brought some life onto this ball club.
That was funky.
Hunter, watched by Knoll. Inside feed, Piercy off the glass and in. 10 points now for Harley Piercy. 33-28, the lead back up to 5. Keon Henderson wants to shake and bake. Throws it away, too high for Wise to handle. And we have another timeout. So we take a little break in the action. Our score stands, Lewis University 33, IPFW 28. You're watching IPFW basketball on College 56 Sports.
I'm Walter Bowman, Director of Athletics at IPFW. I'm pleased you have joined us for today's telecast. I trust you will enjoy the exciting action of our student athletes, and at some point this year will join us for Mastodon entertainment. In the meantime, it is our privilege to come into your home, and we thank you for sharing your time. Please remember that each Wednesday evening at 8:30, you can enjoy Mastodon Spotlight Coaches Hour. For more information on how you can become involved with the Royal Dons Athletic Association, call the number on your screen.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. Mike Moss, Charlie Washington with you. 4:28 left here in the first half. The Dons trail 33-28, but they got an emotional lift thanks to the steal and jam by Keon Henderson. And here we see it right here. They teach that in East Chicago, huh?
They must. But I must have missed that presentation. I missed that. I couldn't do it. The Dons have to be fortunate. Haven't played particularly well and only down 5.
Well, a few more substitutions. John Taylor back in the lineup along with Dwight Crow and Mike Miller. Brad Knoll and Jim Kasanich, they're on the floor for IPFW. Hunter, watched by Knoll. Piercy thought about the three, nearly walked. 18-footer up and in by Demetrius Hunter. His second field goal of the afternoon.
We need a good possession here.
John Taylor for three, short. Austin Real with the rebound.
That wasn't quite what I was speaking of, Mike.
16-footer up and in by Sammy Bassino, his first field goal of the day. Makes it 37-28, just like that. It goes from 5 to 9. Crow. No, inside. Lost the ball. Father Doug said, hey, where's the foul? People in the striped shirts need a hearing aid, perhaps.
Well, I think they went in between. I think Noel did throw the ball out of bounds, but since we didn't get the foul, they gave us the ball.
Mike Miller pops it, no. Rebound to Gibrion Carter. Here come the Flyers on the run. They hold it up. Taking it strong. Oh, they're going to call a blocking foul on Noel. Bassino went hard. For Brad, that is his first foul of the afternoon. Team 5th. Sammy Bassino will shoot 2. Sammy, 6'2", 170 senior out of Rockford, Illinois. The back of the iron on the first one, no good. Wise back in the lineup for the Mastodons, as is Jonah Batambuzi for Lewis.
And as we see on the replay, it was a good call on the blocking call.
Second free throw for Bassino was good. He now has 3.
And there's been, I think, a 7 or 9 point run since that thunderous dunk.
It's now 38-28. Miller with the ball up top. Wise called a 2. Nick Wise now with 10 points.
And he has a very uncanny way of getting shots off that I wouldn't think he'd be able to get off, but he's nailing them.
Lost. Oh, they're going to call a foul on Kasanich and Jim Slow to get up. He and Batambuzi collided. And they're calling a foul on Jim Kesenich, nearly a steal.
And he had some cobwebs to shake off.
Boy, Doug Noll is very high on Jim Kesenich. He is anticipating Jim playing at a 4 spot next year, perhaps. At 6'10", he can hit the outside shot. And he's improved as the season has gone by.
And if we can get him in the weight room and without affecting that feathery touch that he has, I think he will be a tremendous player.
Adam Boozy knocks down the first. He'll get a bonus. Makes it 39-30. Flyers on top. Second free throw also good. 10-point lead for Lewis. How will IPFW respond? Crow being hounded by Carter.
And they've pushed the offense of IPFW out much further than they've wanted.
Nearly thrown away by Miller. Brad Noll picks it up. Inside, pop, shot, no! Rebound nearly controlled by IPFW. Picked up instead by Rio. Flyers try to expand on their 10-point lead. Adam Boozy kicks it out just inside the 3-point arc. Shot missed, controlled by Kroll. Casino couldn't hit the shot. Kesenich thought about the 3. No foul called. Either way, Miller underneath, reverse layup up and in.
Nice.
Mike Miller's first points of the game makes it 40-32. Back with the dunk is Piercy. 12 points now for Harley Piercy. How do you combat the cherry pick almost?
Well, I don't know if we were celebrating a basket or, but again, one of our big guys seemed to have missed an assignment.
Wise has it taken away. They're going to call Carter for the foul. Or they're going to call the foul on Rashad.
But also let me state, in that particular case, I said the big guys missed an assignment. If your guard goes to the basket, the other guard has to rotate out and serve as a protector. So in that particular case, it may not have been the big fella's fault.
I believe they call that foul on Piercy, and that would be his second. There's a replay, Charlie.
Yeah, I think that's who it had to have been on.
His second, team fourth, and Piercy sits down. Kesenich takes it inside, shot partially blocked by Rio. Lewis comes down with the basketball. Cut off by Wise. 30 seconds left in the half. Inside shot, up, missed. Carter with the offensive rebound. Muscles it up, no. Picks it up again, no. Rebound controlled by Crow. 15 seconds left. Kesenich fouled as he goes up. Can't get the shot, but he will shoot 2 with the stripe.
And that's the time that you want to see Jim Kesenich go up strong.
Foul was on Carter, his first. Jim Kesenich, 6'10", 210 freshman, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Will shoot 2. 57% foul shooter at the line for the year.
So there's one more thing for him to work on this summer, huh, Mike?
Yes, sir. First point of the afternoon for Jim. Second free throw, off the rim, no good. Carter with the rebound. A few seconds left in the half. Baseline drive, shot, no! Rebound controlled by Kesinich, and that does end our first half of play. Teams head into the locker room. Lewis University leading IPFW 42-33. Quick thought in the half, Charlie, before we go to break.
Again, 9 points, not totally out of the basketball game. Haven't played particularly well, but if we come out strong in the first part of the second half, we have a chance.
We'll take a break. You'll see what else is going on with the university, and then we'll come back. Again, halftime, 42-33, Lewis leading IPFW. You're watching IPFW basketball on College 56 Sports.
Dr. Matthew Kubik is an architectural engineering professor at IPFW who utilizes his experience to teach his students one-on-one.
So it's really shoulder-to-shoulder learning that we're looking at problems together for the first time.
Dr. Kubik also is the director of the honors program at IPFW. His ability to teach on a personal level allows him to educate to the needs of his honors students.
They want more conversation. They want a closer contact with professors. They want interactive learning in the classroom.
He is thankful for the advantages of a combined classroom of young students and students who are returning to college after years in the workplace.
That mix of students creates a classroom environment that is exciting, that's vibrant.
IPFW, the right school, right here, right now.
I wanted to study engineering so I could get a better job without giving up the job I've already got.
Of course, getting a degree without going into debt was pretty high on my list, too.
And I wanted the kind of education that I could only get in smaller classes with the professor's full attention.
IPFW offered me all of that. And the Purdue engineering degree is going to look pretty good on my resume.
Going to IPFW is the best choice I ever made.
IPFW, the right school, right here, right now.
I would really encourage any potential student at IPFW to get involved, to see this as their campus, that it's not just a place to go to class and leave.
You would not believe how much opportunity there is for you here at IPFW, people to help you in all different aspects of your education. There's just loads and loads of opportunities for you to succeed at IPFW.
When a student exits IPFW with a degree, they can be secure with the knowledge that they have a world-class degree that will be recognized by any employer.
IPFW has a very nice disabled student services program. They are providing many great adaptive aids for all sorts of disabilities.
Originally, I chose IPFW because I wasn't ready to leave home. I wanted to stay at home and live at home and try college and get used to it and then move on. But after a year here, you couldn't get me to leave.
I've got 2 kids, and IPFW's childcare is affordable and it's flexible. It really works out well.
I really wanted to go for an Indiana University business degree.
But with housing and tuition, it really adds up, and the money just wasn't there to go away to college.
And with a 2-year-old, my housing options were kind of limited anyway.
And the truth is, I really wanted to keep my job and stay close to home.
Going to IPFW made all of that possible.
IPFW? The best choice I ever made.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. The right school, right here, right now.
The Royal Dons Athletic Association would like to thank you for joining us and trust that you are enjoying this evening's telecast. As Director of Athletics at IPFW, I want you to know firsthand that the student athletes and myself appreciate your taking time to be a part of this contest. Recently, Chancellor Wartell notified the NCAA of our desire to move our program to Division I status. Over the next few months, you will be both hearing and reading more about this transition and how you can become personally involved. I would like to invite you to join us each Wednesday evening for the Mastodon Spotlight Coaches Hour. This will provide you information on the coaches, student athletes, and up-to-date progress on each team. We believe our student athletes' prowess on the courts and field is matched by their academic achievement in the classroom. It is our pledge to you that this dual responsibility is our continuing goal as we enter Division I competition. For more information on how you can become involved in the Royal Dons Athletic Association and in the life of the university and our student athletes, please call the number listed on your screen. Thank you again for your consideration of involvement with the Royal Dons Athletic Association and Mastodon excitement.
legacy to the world be? When you are no longer here, what will you leave behind for others to remember you by?
On Tuesday, March 28th, we 4 universities will host the Write a Will Day. Stop in and have your will drawn up for free.
It's all part of Leave a Legacy Month in Fort Wayne. Local attorneys will be on our campuses to construct your simple will at no cost to you.
Do your part in establishing your legacy. Join us March 28th for Write a Will Day at Indiana Institute of Technology, IPFW, Taylor University, and the University of St. Francis.
Leave a legacy.
Excuse me. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW. This is Mike Miles along with Charlie Washington. It is halftime of the season finale for the Mastodons, and Coach Doug Noll's squad trails Lewis University by 9, 42-33. And Charlie Washington, I'll ask you the question. You can expand a little bit more than what we talked at the end of the half. Your thoughts on the first 20 minutes of play?
Not much continuity. We had, on our last few telecasts, we had become accustomed to seeing a core group of players out there for the most part of the game, and then a normal substitution pattern. In this particular game, there's not really been a substitution pattern per se. There have been wholesale changes in some of the players that we had come accustomed to seeing. Some of our young big guys, we haven't seen that much in this basketball game.
Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers here in the first half. For Lewis University, they were 16 of 30 from the floor for 53%, 1 of 5 three-point shooting for 20%, 9 out of 10 at the free throw line for 90%. They were led in scoring by Harley Piercy. Harley 6 of 10 from the floor, 12 points, and most of them were the inside dunk variety, or layup variety, shall we say. He's the only flyer in double figures. 7 points from Jonah Batambuzi, 6 points apiece from Austin Rio and Hebron Carter, 4 points from Demetrius Hunter, 3 points from Sammy Bassino, and 2 points apiece from Lukman Rashad and London Donlow, with Brennan Callahan playing but not scoring. For IPFW, they were 12 of 30 from the floor for 40%, only 5 of 13 from three-point range for 39%, 4 of 5 at the foul line for 80%. They were led by junior co-captain Nick Wise. As we take a look at a couple of highlights here, replays. Charlie, you can comment perhaps as we go along. Nick had 10 points, 4 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 4 from three-point range. He's the only down in double figures. 7 points from Brad Knoll, including 2 trays. In fact, the first 2 shots he took, and you mentioned earlier, as we look at another replay or two, the steal. This I thought was going to give IPFW life when Keon stole it and jammed it and made the score 31-28 at the 5:51 mark, but they just couldn't maintain their poise and got outscored 11-2 the last 5:51 of the half. Continuing with the scoring, 4 points for D'Angelo Woodall, 3 points from Matt Shepard, 2 points apiece from Nick Euler, Mike Miller, Keon Henderson, and Lindsey Henderson, and 1 free throw from Jim Kasanich. Rebounding favors Lewis 18-13. Assists 10 for Lewis, 7 for IPFW. Turnovers 5 for Lewis, 8 for IPFW. Really, Charlie, we got outplayed the whole first half.
Yeah, and the easy layups that they got off of the IPFW press really hurt and certainly makes a difference right now, because at least 8 to 10 points, 4 to 5 layups were made on those easy run-out baskets. So we have to make certainly some adjustments there and get some continuity. But at the same time, with the 7 and 22 team, you're going to try a lot of combinations to see what you can get from certain players. So we can't really fault that at this point.
Okay, your name is now Doug Knoll. What did you tell your team at halftime?
We have 1 half of basketball. This is it, guys. We have to come out and play hard. And again, I mentioned next year, guys. We're building for next year, and we have to start right now. Every moment counts. We're playing hard right now. This is next year. This half of basketball is the beginning process for what goes on next year.
Well, as you get a look at the Dons meeting around Coach Doug Knoll, I want to remind you as we get ready to start this second half of action that this telecast today is brought to you in part by Pizza Hut of Canterbury, featuring famous Pizza Hut pizza. Well, it's hard to believe what started on October 15th at midnight comes to an end in 20 game minutes, but it's been an interesting year, if not a learning experience.
And basketball has become, it's a year-round sport, because soon as that buzzer goes off tomorrow, you wake up tomorrow and you begin, what can I do to get ready for next year? The coaches are out recruiting, the coaches are preparing, seeing what players need to improve on, having those end-of-the-year meetings with the players, checking academics. So basketball has certainly become a year-round sport, and here is certainly going to be more important as we make that transition into Division I basketball.
You talk about recruiting. We had a chance at halftime of the women's game that we passed earlier today. Joe Pachota on, the men's assistant basketball coach, one of them. He's got his bags packed. Monday he hits the trail. Here we go. Lewis with the basketball to start the second half. Badambuzi, Hunter, Piercy, Real. Hunter misses the shot. Offensive rebound put up and in by Rashad. And the lead is expanded to 44-33. Woodall, Shepard, Keon Henderson, Wise, and Brad Noe on the floor for the Lions. Wise, three, off the rim, no. Fight for the rebound, controlled by Badambuzi. Inside feed again, shot up and in by Real. And this is a nightmare for IPFW right now.
They don't seem to have come out with the fire and intensity that they have to come with to getting back into this basketball game.
Wise answers with a deuce for the Dons. Back come the Flyers. Favorable roll for Badambuzi. 9 points now for Badambuzi. Noel loses the ball. Here come the Flyers. Going for win number 12 on the year. Hunter gets it back out. Inside, off the glass and in. Rashad. Flyers out to an 8-2 run to start the half, I should say. 50-35. Woodall. Brings it back out. The trees. No. Three. In and out. No. Can't buy the break. Rashad with the board. Piercy for three. Dagger in the heart. Doug Knoll says, let's talk it over. Timeout called. 30-second timeout with 17:46 to go. The 2001 IPFW Arts and Sciences Distinguished Lecturer will present his talk, Violence, Inequality, and Human Freedom, on Wednesday, March 21st at 7:30 p.m. in Neff Hall, room 101. Peter Idacola is a professor of sociology and chair of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology at IPFW. His research interests have included topics on social organization, delinquency, criminology, and distribution of educational resources. The public is invited to attend this free event, and you may park for free in any B parking space on campus. That's author and professor Peter Idacola, Wednesday, March 21st in Neff 101 at 7:30 p.m. Nightmare, that's all you can say, Charlie.
Not to take anything away from the effort of the Lewis Flyers, but the Dons have simply not come out and put themselves in the position of success in this game.
Shepard tries to get one back, doesn't get it, but he gets fouled and he will shoot two. As Eberhard Carter picks up the foul, his second, team first here in the second half. Shepard drains the first one. First free throw attempt of the day for Matt. He now has 4 points. As you see the replay of him getting hacked. Second one good as well. 50-37. Don's trying to get with pressure. Lewis beats it again. It's got to be very frustrating to give it an effort Just get out, work and out hustle. That's what's happening right now. Piercy, posting, turning, shooting and scoring. Piercy, 17 points now.
He's played well.
Shepard on the wing. Feeds it wide, stops, pops, and hits. Nick Wise with 4 second-half points now. (52-39). It's a Baker's dozen lead. Nearly a steal, nearly a foul on Crow. Piercy inside. Shot up and missed by Rio, but Austin is fouled, and he will shoot too. Fouls on Dwight Crow, his second, team first of the second half.
Entering the game, number 50, Jim Kesnick.
Jim Kesnick will come into the ball game after the first of the 2 free throws for Austin Rio.
Looks like Doug Crow must have caught an elbow on the head.
First free throw is good.
And our producer, Barney Lowmiller, has confirmed that he caught an elbow on the way down.
Job well done from Bernie and the crew. They've been giving us some great replay highlights this afternoon, and I applaud them for it. Second free throw by Rio good as well. He's got 4 points in the second half, 10 for the ball game. And the lead stands 54-39. Wise misses the shot. Rebound controlled by Rio. Here comes Lewis. See how much fight the Dons have left in them. Still plenty of time. Shake, bake, shot, missed. Rebound. Crow, as Batambuzi couldn't get the jumper. Crow for 3, short. Crow saying the official that the Lewis defender touched it, but the officials say no. And it'll be Flyer basketball. Hunter inbounding. Long feed. Again, open people for Lewis. Hunter stops, pops from 19, yes. Demetrius Hunter now has a half a dozen.
And they are taking the air out of the Dons.
No for 3, in and out, no. Dons can't buy a bucket, although Woodall gets the offensive board. Wise for 3, in and out, no again. It's at least 4 threes this half that have gone in and out.
And that's about the extent of our offense right now, is somewhat of penetration and then getting Wise the basketball.
I know Doug Noahs, I've gotten to know him over the last 2 years. You'd say that's a microcosm of what this season has been all about. We've got timeout on the floor, so let's take a break as well. 14:54 left, our score, Lewis 56, IPFW 39. You're watching IPFW basketball on College 56 Sports.
What will your legacy to the world be? When you are no longer here, what will you leave behind for others to remember you by?
On Tuesday, March 28th, we 4 universities will host the Write a Will Day. Stop in and have your will drawn up for free.
It's all part of Leave a Legacy Month in Fort Wayne. Local attorneys will be on our campuses to construct your simple will at no cost to you.
Do your part in establishing your legacy. Join us March 28th for Write a Will Day at Indiana Institute of Technology, IPFW, Taylor University, and the University of St. Francis.
Leave a legacy.
You guys are giving positive comments all year.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. Mike Moss, Charlie Washington with you. Right now, if you're a Mastodon fan, the Daubers are down because your team is trailing 56-39. There is no 17-point play, but there is just under 15 minutes to go. And you and I both know, as being former players on the high school, and me for a short time collegiately, you for a longer time, there is time if the will and the effort are there.
And that's the last thing you just said, Mike, the will and the effort. And I'm looking right now for 5 guys who are going to go out there and fight for me on the basketball court.
Lewis with the basketball. Messina, who's back in the lineup. 3-point shot. Piercy is going to town. 20 points now after that 3 ball. And all of a sudden, the lead is up to 20. Check the scoreboard. Maybe there's a malfunction. Taylor, Kessenich, Mike Miller, Crow, and Brad Nolan will line up for the Dons. Pass intended for Crow, knocked out of bounds. Good play by Hunter. IPFW retains possession.
The Flyers have just been a step ahead of the Dons all night or afternoon.
No, forces one up off the rim. No, Kessenich with the offensive glass. No, fight for the ball. Who's got it? Callahan for Lewis has it. Flyers slow it up now. Carter. Inside feed. Piercy, who else? Spin. Shot up. No. Carter. Smart defensive play. Carter in the air. Got the ball. Knocked it off of Kessenich. And it'll be Lewis possession.
And that was good defense that time by Crow. And on the play down here, Kessenich did a good job getting the offensive rebound. And I mentioned about a nice feathery touch that he has earlier in the game, but he has to go get a lunch pail.
Move inside. Shot missed. Callahan got the rebound, and he gets hammered. As Bassino had missed the earlier shot. So we have Callahan shooting 2. First one is good. Substitutions.
Lindsey
Henderson.
Henderson.
Yeah, Lindsey Henderson in. Batambuzi in for Lewis, as well as London Dunlow. Second free throw good as well. Now 61-39. John Taylor looking for some help. Miller. Keon. 8 on the shot clock. Crow. Triple team. Ball nearly stolen. Miller off the rim. No. Rebound fought for. Controlled by Callahan. Here comes Lewis.
We just aren't attacking the basket right now, Mike. We're going around the perimeter passing, but we have to find someone that's going to attack the basket.
Dunlow watched by John Taylor. Flyers working on the perimeter. Carter takes it strong. Short on the shot. Miller with the easy rebound. Keon stops, pops, hits, no, misses. Crow tried to tap it away, but he tapped it instead to Batambuzi of the red-shirted team. Baseline jumper, Callahan is good. 4 points now for Brennan Callahan. That can score the last 4 Lewis points. Under 12 minutes now. trying to get somebody. Trying to get the ball to Lindsey Henderson, knocked out of bounds by Callahan.
And Henderson has to do, excuse me, Mike, Henderson has to do a better job of fighting for position. He's letting Callahan push him way out on the basketball court.
Nick Wise back in the IPFW lineup, as is Demetrius Hunter for Lewis. Taylor to inbound it. Lindsey Henderson, whistle, pushing foul on Callahan. His first. I believe the team third. Euler back in for John Taylor. Mike Miller to inbound. Henderson in the paint, could be 3 seconds. Interesting unit that's on the floor for the Blue. Wise kicks it out. Henderson tries a jumper, short, but he is fouled. Callahan picks up his second quick one. Lindsey Henderson at the stripe, shooting 2. For the year, Lindsey Henderson, 83% from the line. .235 freshman. Short on the first one. Rio back in the lineup for Callahan for Lewis. Second one good. 3 points now for Lindsey Henderson. And the score is 63-40. Lewis with the lead in basketball. Hunter, watched by Euler. Lob pass, oh, defensively. Henderson tried, nearly walked, was shot up and in by Bassino, and that's par for the course.
Yes, everything going the Flyers' way and nothing going the way of the Dons.
Rio nearly walked. Instead, he gets the ball to Bassino, and Sammy put it in the hole. Wise intending to pass for Mike Miller, and Mike couldn't handle it. Out of bounds it goes.
And it seems to be the big thing there's the effort defensively of the Flyers.
But they're smelling blood right now. Up by 23. Nearly 26 as a three-point shot is missed. Carter tried to get the rebound, couldn't control it. As D'Angelo Woodall comes back in the lineup for IPFW. Rashad going to come back in the lineup for Lewis as well. And Charlie, again, we mentioned it a few moments ago, it's time for some of these people to dig down deep and see what they're made of.
Yeah, that's easily a time for some of these players to etch a place in the lineup or at least a playing group for next year going in.
There comes a point where you have to forget about what the score says, or the scoreboard says, I should say. Wise has a shot blocked by Hunter. Dons retain possession. 10-11 to go.
And we've been saying that for a few weeks. Forget about the record and let's just start building on for next year.
Woodall had trouble getting the inbound pass in. Baseline drive, shot up and in. 6 points for D'Angelo Woodall.
That's a great quick move to the basket.
Flyers content to burn some clock. See how their pattern offense works. Rio, 12-footer short. Offensive rebound, however, by Rashad. Ball out of bounds. That's a last touch by Rashad. And that brings us to another media timeout. So let's once again take a break. 9:33 left in the IPFW season. They trail Lewis by a score, 65-42. You're watching IPFW basketball on College 56 Sports. back, everybody. Charlie Washington, we're seeing how Lewis is crashing the boards and getting the high percentage shots. That one there by Sammy Bassino. There, perhaps, is a future Mastodon. Maybe a class of 2019, maybe?
Let's see what he's got.
Players coming back on the floor. Shepard, Woodall, Euler, Keon Henderson, Nick Wise for IPFW. Woodall shakes base, tries to blow around. Shot is no good. He tried to blow around Bassino. Sammy hit him on the arm. His second foul.
D'Angelo Woodall, extremely quick going to the basket. One thing for him to work on this summer is shooting the basketball.
D'Angelo Woodall. Bent the knees, knocked down the first free throw. 3 for 3 at the stripe this afternoon. Now has 7 points. Gets a death, he missed the second one. Fight for the loose ball. Scramble underneath. On the alternate possession, I do believe it's IPFW's.
And that's great to see, a 7-22 basketball team down by over 20 points, but you got players on the floor scrambling for a loose ball.
And that's what Doug Noll, Joe Pachoda, and Paredes are looking for right now. May not be so much scoring, but how they play the defense, how they pass, how they look for the open man. Use the easy way now. You say intangibles, how they drive the basketball team. Inside feed, Woodall on the trees. Had to kick it back out. Keon for 3, off the rim, no. Fight for the rebound. Holding it down is Rashad. Here comes Lewis on the run. Bassino has it nearly stripped. Ball goes out of bounds. Woodall hit the deck hard.
But that's the type of effort you want. You're almost forgetting, not totally forgetting basketball here, but you're looking at the character of this basketball team and to see what they have.
Substitutions. Callahan back in the lineup for Lewis. You got Piercy, Callahan, Hunter, Benham Boozy, and Austin Reel. Hunter for 3. Off the rim, no. Euler with the rebound for IPFW. Here come the Dons. Woodall loses it. Hunter's going to take it coast to home. Woodall stopped the dunk. D'Angelo picks up the foul, but at least he prevents the dunk by Hunter.
And that's effort. That is a tremendous effort. You don't want to see him lose the basketball out there, and I think this is the second or third time he's lost the basketball, but D'Angelo Woodall is not quitting.
There you see the Lewis Brain Trust, led by head coach Jim Weitzel. First free throw for Hunter is no good. There we see a look at it again, Charlie.
And this isn't going to be much of a foul.
Unfortunately, the hip got a little bit of the hip.
You don't call that in a pickup game.
Second free throw for Hunter is good. Makes it 66-42. Hunter trying to play quarterback from up top. Callahan stops, pops, and hits.
Point basket.
Boozy, watched by Brad Knoll. Piercy from NBA range, yes. Harley Piercy has been a dagger in the side for IPFW. He's got 11 points now in the second half. 23 for the game. Euler from the foul line is up and in. 7 points for Nick Euler, including the last 5 that IPFW has scored. 71-49. Whistle, timeout called, as Callahan was double teamed. 30-second timeout called by Lewis University. Tune in tonight to see the classic film Diabolique, featuring Simone Signoret, Vera Clouzot, and Paul Mézeris. The strict schoolmaster at a provincial French boarding school engages in extracurricular activities not taught at the school. His wife and girlfriend collaborate in a sinister plot against him. That's Diabolique tonight at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 56.
And after hearing you read that, I know what I'm doing tonight at 10 o'clock.
I can only imagine what Doug Knoll and his assistants are going to be doing tonight. Will they be looking at tape, or will they just be saying, let's forget about this for a few hours and then start the trek new tomorrow?
I think you try to forget about it for a moment and wake up tomorrow, and then you go right back to the drawing board.
6:50 left. Lewis with the basketball. Callahan, top of the key. 5 on the shot clock. Hunter for 3. Oh, that hurts. You play defense for 34 seconds only to get burned by a 3. Wise comes back, misses the shot. Shepard with the offensive board, hit the ball. Loses it. Hunter touched it and he stepped on the end line, so IPFW will retain possession. Charlie, what can you say? The Dons actually played very good defense for 34 seconds. Unfortunately, there's 35 in a possession, and Hunter hit the 3.
And that's kind of a microcosm again of how their season has gone. For the most part, they played very well for 30-plus minutes and just couldn't bring it down the stretch.
Brad Knoll has his 3-point attempt knocked out of bounds. The Dons will retain possession. Woodall to inbound it. Well, Brad Knoll thought Shepard was cutting in and might be looking back for the ball, and so he threw the bounce pass. Unfortunately, Brad forgot to turn around. Matt forgot to turn around.
Thought he was going to zig.
When he zagged. Piercy loses it. One of the rare second-half mistakes by Lewis. Jim Whitesell, the coach of Lewis, not happy, but it's kind of hard not to be happy when you're up 74-49.
Well, you got to love that as a coach, or watching a coach, to see he's still competitive.
Wise hits the 10-footer. Nick Wise hasn't given up. He's got 18 points. Hunter able to break the press. 5.5 minutes left in the IPFW season. Callahan has it knocked out of bounds by Shepard. Good hands by Matt Shepard. Sammy Bassino comes back in the lineup for Lewis, replacing Demetrius Hunter.
It seems on that pressure that the Dons have tried to implement tonight just aren't quick enough to get the rotations, and I would like to say it's more physically than it is the mental breakdowns.
Woodall nearly comes up with the steal. Now they say that Bassino touched the end line, so it is turnover Lewis. IPFW basketball. 5:24 left on the game clock. Euler for 3. No, off the mark. Rebound controlled by Batabuzi.
And the defense rushing that Euler kind of took him out of his rhythm, his shooting rhythm that time.
Piercy. What about the three? Boozy way up top. Oh, nice feed, Real. Big step off the glass and in. Austin Real.
So how do you combat that? You run the clock, and then when you want to, it seems, you get a pick and roll and you get an easy layup.
4.5 minutes to go. Three-pointer by Noel, no good. Tap, no good. Rebound controlled by Austin Real, and he's fouled. Fouls on Woodall, and that is D'Angelo's third. John Taylor, Jim Kesenich, and Mike Miller in the lineup for IPFW. Now there's a question as to whether there's a... No, we have a media timeout, so let's take one as well. Under 4.5 minutes to go, our score, Lewis 76, IPFW 51. This is IPFW basketball on College 56 Sports.
Each year, IPFW faces two key legislative issues, equity funding and technology funding. Although we're a state-assisted university, the funding IPFW receives from the state puts us near the bottom of the list of public educational institutions. Join me this month on IPFW Up Close for a look at what can be done to improve the equity of funding for Northeast Indiana's largest public university. That's IPFW Up Close Sundays at noon and Fridays at 8 p.m. on College Access Channel 56.
Back to the action, Charlie. What can you say? Inside play of Lewis is dominant this afternoon.
Yeah, and in that particular play that we just saw, that was after running about 33 seconds off the shot clock.
Well, they're almost ready as the final media timeout is about finished. Now taking a look at some of the numbers, IPFW in the second half, only 7 of 21 from the floor for 33%, 1 of 8 from three-point range. Meanwhile, Lewis, 14 of 22 for 64% from the floor, 4 of 6 from long distance for 67%. Right now, it's second half score alone is Lewis 37, IPFW 19.
They have cooled off from the free throw line. After shooting 90 the first half, they're only shooting 83 the second.
Always looking for something positive. Always looking for something positive. Here we go. Messino up top, watched by Mike Miller. Inside feed, Real off the glass and in again. Real on the feed from Piercy.
81-52.
14 points now for Austin Real.
They're making it look easy. They're dissecting the Dons.
I've got to be honest, Charlie, this is not the same IPFW team that took number 2 ranked Southern Indiana down nearly to the wire, losing 110-108 3 weeks ago.
There's no question about that. And they're certainly making Lewis not look like their record.
Adam Boozy for 3, salt in the wounds. Second try for Jonah Boozy. It's now 81-51. And the frustration continues. Noel tried to find the open man, and it's over and back as Euler touched it on the other side of midcourt. Dwight Crow back in the Fort Wayne lineup, replacing Brad Noel. Brad Noel hit his first 2 shots from the floor, both trays, plus a free throw. I think it was a 4-point play, the second one, and just unable to get anything after that. Flyers with a basketball. Piercy double teamed. Wide open for 3. Adam Boozy. More salt in the wounds. 84-51. 15 points now for Jonah Boozy. Taylor with the ball for the Dons. And for Euler, Nick loses it off his hands, out of bounds. Couple of substitutions for Lewis. London. Well, I thank you for getting the score corrected. 87-52, I'm told.
And this certainly is one of the few times the Dons have looked like their record. They've not played well.
Shot up and missed by Rashad, but he's fouled and he will go to the line shooting 2. John Taylor commits the foul. Don't know how I got the score wrong, but maybe the absence of a clock has something to do with it. Rashad knocks down the first one.
Everybody's allowed one mistake. It's February, so.
I made a bunch of them this year, folks. I hate to tell you that, but I'm being honest. Rashad going for point number 8. He gets it. 89-52. Miller wants to drive. It's hammered as he goes up. Donlow gets called for the foul, although he also got hit by Rashad as well.
And that's probably about the most aggressive that we've seen Mike Miller be this year. Yep. And certainly something next year he's going to have to work on, is being more aggressive offensively.
South Bend Clay product. Hits the back of the iron on the first free throw, no good.
Stay in there on those free throws and follow through.
Yes, sir. Miller does hit the second. Again, Lewis breaks the press with relative ease. 1:45 and counting. As Dunwell loses the ball to Mike Miller, who in turn loses the ball to Hunter. Hunter jams it. Near jam. 91-53. Buck 24 and counting. Crow misses the shot. Rebound, Rashad.
Just nothing going to Don's way. You just want the clock to run out at this point.
And a 30-second timeout is called by Lewis so they can get Emmanuel Ryan into the lineup. Ryan, a 6'5" freshman. Junior forward out of Chicago. The coach just wanted to get him in the lineup for the last minute and change.
Well, I watched him in warm-ups. He has some hops.
Vecino, top of the key. I had a feeling they may try to get the ball into Ryan. 17-footer is good by Vecino. 93-53. Taylor for 3, off the rim, no. Rebound controlled by Ikekni Nakwani, if I did it right. As Lewis empties the bench. "20 seconds to go. Ball knocked away, picked up by Euler. To Miller, 8 seconds. Miller, no calls, he's pushed. Inside, 1 second. The dunk is good, then the ball game by Sammy Vecino. Well, actually, there's 0.4 of a second left. There we go, it is over. The game and the season and the life expectancy in the GLVC. Final score, Lewis 95, IPFW 53. Thoughts, Mr. Washington?
wow, not the kind of ending you want to a season. At the outset of the game, we said we had some things to work on and to look forward to, and I think this was a game that we thought we could build on. A game that certainly we thought we'd get a much better effort than we got from the Dons. We didn't, so that means we have to go to the drawing board. Get out there recruiting, work on the players that we have, and get those red shirts on the basketball court.
Let's take a couple of quick looks at the final numbers, some of the final numbers. Lewis with the win goes to 11-15, I believe. IPFW finishes the year out 7-23. Leading scorer in the ball game for Lewis, Harley Piercy, with 23 points, 17 of those in the second half. We've got also three other players in double figures. Badambuzi with 15, Austin Reel with 14, and Hunter with 12. For IPFW, they're led by Nick Wise. Third leading scorer in the conference, finishes the game with 18 points, only member in double figures. As we look at a couple of final replays, Charlie. 7 points apiece from Woodall, Brad Knoll, Nick Euler. That led the rest of the way, most of it for IPFW. Oh, Charlie, we're about finished. I've enjoyed this year with you. And quick thought on the season, and then we're going to wrap it up and say goodbye.
Well, we just have to look forward to next year and rebound from this. But when we say rebound, we have to rebound and step it up even more as we graduate to Division I basketball. And likewise, Mike, it's certainly been a pleasure working this season with you.
We look forward to hopefully lots of better things to come in the future. And that's basically going to wrap it up. I want to remind you that our program today was sponsored in part by Pizza Hut of Canterbury, featuring famous Pizza Hut pizza. We'd like to thank at this time the College 56 production crew, the IPFW athletic staff, the City of Fort Wayne, Comcast Cablevision, the IPFW Learning Resource Center, and especially the IPFW Office of University Relations and Communications for their contributions to this College 56 sports telecast. This telecast of IPFW Sports is copyrighted and the sole property of the College Cable Access Center and IPFW. Unauthorized duplication, exhibition, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this event without expressed written consent is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed our telecast of IPFW Sports, if not the outcome, and we thank you again for joining us today. For Charlie Washington, this is Mike Maas saying so long for now. Once again, our final score here this afternoon was Lewis defeating IPFW by the final score of 93-53. Join us again this coming week for Mastodon Spotlight and the Arnie Ball Show. And then 1 week from tonight, the Volleydons return home from a lengthy road trip as they entertain first place Loyola of Illinois. That's at 7 o'clock on College 56 1 week from tonight. But until then, we bid you a fond farewell from the Hilliard Gate Sports Center here on the campus of IPFW.